I think I was living in the islands. I dove into this this pool where I go swimming. Well, I remember this distinctly. I head first into a rock. I just floated there and dizzy. Lucky I woke up before I was drowned. Before I drowned.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Chats. We are delighted to have Sila Agarwale, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He is a filmmaker, director, originally came from the Samoan Islands, and is going to share today about an incident that happened when he was 10 years old that awoke him up to fear and how he copes with that on a daily basis, and the difference between growing up in a matriarchal society and that of one in the United States. So how would you describe the taste of a banana to someone who's never eaten one?
It would be like poi without the sweets.
You're going to have to describe that because some people don't know what that tastes like.
Oh, poi is a mushed up root the Polynesians used in their diet, and the Hawaiians do this. They mush it up, and it has a flavorless taste, but it's much like a taste of the texture of a banana when you eat it, that softness, but it doesn't have that sweetness that the banana has. So that's
So
what, to me, what a banana tastes like.
People will have to travel, maybe eat something else to know what the banana tastes like.
They would have to go to Hawaii to taste the poi.
That's an excellent excuse, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a good way to go to see paradise.
So when did you have your first existential life crisis as a child?
As a child, wow. Let me think. Wow.
I know it was a long time ago.
Yes, it is a long time ago. I think I was living in the islands. I dove into this this pool where I go swimming, and well, I remember this distinctly. I head first into a rock. I just floated there and dizzy. Lucky I woke up before I was drowned. Before I drowned. But so I very weary of diving into oceans and kind of scared of heights.
And this fear that you have of height. Now, let's get some details for the visuals. How high was the dive down?
It's like 10 feet, and the water was. I thought I could dive in and then do a quick loop in underwater, but I was not able to fast enough.
And was the blood gushing everywhere?
Yes, there was.
Okay. Did you lose consciousness?
A little bit.
Was there someone with you?
No, I think there were some people. I think there were. I don't remember. All I remember was standing up, getting back up, and going, "Whoa!" I was, hurt.
And you were how old?
10.
10. Okay, 10 years old. And did someone come and help you out?
No. I just swam out, laid on the grass, and got myself back together again. But it took a while. But
right.
that brought on this sort of fear of heights. I'm weary going up on on elevators when I was living in New York. That's
So this is
being on top of.
this is quite embedded into your consciousness, as it is when things happen as a child, so it gets programmed in. Were your friends and who you hung out with, were you ridiculed because you didn't want to dive down in the pools anymore?
No. It wasn't like that with my friends. It's either you do it or you don't do it. It wasn't a matter of, oh, you're a chicken, you don't do it.
So there wasn't. Now, which islands did you grow up in?
Samoa. I grew up in the
Okay.
islands. Samoa.
And it's a very tight-knit community?
Very much a type. It's a village community. Very much tight. Everybody knows everybody.
So when this had happened to you, what was the recourse of what the village did to support you?
I don't think anybody knew. Nobody knew. I just, patched up my head as much as I could and went on with life.
Simply went on with it.
Yeah. There wasn't a big deal about it. Or nobody knew. Or I didn't want to tell anybody.
I mean, suddenly you're not diving into pools the way you used to. Surely someone noticed something.
Oh, it wasn't. So it was just the kids having fun. That was our ritual of swimming, diving. The ocean was a big thing in my background. Surfing, stuff like that. So, but diving heights was I think for me, I couldn't do it anymore, or didn't have the confidence to do it anymore.
This carried all the way through with, when you were in your 20s, living in New York and heights.
Yeah. Even now, I'm weary going up tall buildings.
Is it the same with if you're flying?
Yes, very much so. I don't like to fly. I would rather drive long distance than get in an airplane and fly somewhere. I would do it, but I would not like it. It would be an uncomfortable flight for me all the way through.
Do you think that's related back to that incident?
I think, yes, it's very much so. Yeah, very much.
Has there been anything else after that incident that you've noticed has snowballed a little bit with fears or trepidation?
Well, that's the thing. That's a constant thing in my life, fear, in anybody else's life. But more so with heights with me. But fear is a constant companion. I always have to overcome. So.
Right. Would you say that it lists into anxiety in everyday life?
Not so much that it becomes a burden, but it does in my conscious. I do think about it, and that's an effort to overcome that thought. Whether it's an audition, whether it's an approval, it's a constant. Whether it's in relationships, it's a constant companion.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. And I never talked to anybody that do not have fears. I don't like to be them.
Well, it's part of the human condition, right? So ultimately, the big fear is the one element we can actually be sure of, which is the body will drop. So that's a big, big fear, which we can sort of back down, backtrack, right? To that phrase, oh my gosh, I could have died. Which is
well, that is the ultimate fear. that is the ultimate preservation. But we
Right.
know that that day is going to come. You get to a certain age, and you're no longer that kid that was free. You're a grown man, getting closer to that inevitable day. You're trying to block it out of your mind, but it's there. It's but it doesn't become I hear of a guy talking the other day that old people are really nice because they're closer to that. They're trying to find a seat in heaven somewhere.
So if you're aware of this and you have it, what do you do to try to help calm it down so you actually can be present in the day and enjoy what you do have of life?
I relax. Actually, I do. I breathe, which is funny enough. Things that I like you, we both went to the same university. Things that I took for granted, like dynamics, the breathing exercises that we used to do. I took those for granted. But right now, that's become a constant thing for me. I consciously think of breathing, and it does work for me.
Absolutely.
Breathing deep.
Centering back to the breath, right?
Yes.
The depending on what lineage we use, pranayama, which is considered the breath of life, right? Which is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And especially during the times of the pandemic, breathing was so important to take a moment to breathe in, right? Because when we get that deep inhalation and exhalation, let's say there's a day that we're stressed, right? Notice sometimes when people will come up to us and give us a lot of information, and that's a bunch of stress, the initial physiological response is, okay, I'll take care of it, right? That's a natural response to how to overcome stress, that deep inhalation and that deep exhalation, right? And when we have, it slows the body down. It's one of the fastest ways to get the body out of fight or flight into more of a relaxation state. Simply, like you said, doing deep breaths, and the word dynamics, if people don't know, it was an early morning class of, stretching and breathing and sort of awakening the body, really, so it can actually be present in the world. Because
Yes.
So much it's getting up, get a cup of coffee, off you go, bloop, 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 and not taking that time to do that. And there's twofold, right? There's the body that can help bring the mind in, right?
Right.
Physical activity. And then there's the other way around too. And the meditation that we teach, we have, it's a letting go practice. It's not about concentrating. Everyone says the word meditation and there's all kinds of images that come up, right? They come up as, oh, you're supposed to be like sitting like this, or I don't know, as a chap, you're supposed to have a really long beard, right? And
yeah, lives up in the mountain in India.
Right. Yeah, that's right. You have to have a really long beard, be able to sit cross-legged, legs across each other. And as a woman, you're supposed to look really hot-looking and have flowy long hair. Don't quite think that's fair, but that's the image that people get. And you're supposed to have no thoughts, right? And be really, really calm. And the reality is, if we're all trying to be calm, what a boring world that is indeed. And the calm mind is when there's less stress, because stress causes that fight or flight, like we were talking about. Stress causes a fear, right? And the mind's natural for survival is to protect the body. So if we are in fear of maybe dying, right, the mind is going to try and find ways to either back out of being in the world or not behaving, or a solution to something that hasn't even happened, and yet doing some physical movements, breathing, for example, or the meditation that we teach, which is a letting go practice. And if people are curious about what it is, there's a free ebook if you have Amazon, I think Prime. It's called Vedic Meditation Stories. And there are true stories. It's the only publication globally right now of individuals who would never have learned to meditate. It's about a page each person, predominantly from underrepresented groups in the wellness community. And we talk about how the nonprofit came about and those stories. So check that out, because that will really give people an eye opener and it will have your mouth drop to the floor. Most people do. Please do that. The description is in the link below. And if you'd like to like and subscribe, we'll appreciate that too. But a letting go practice, like letting go of all these thoughts, right, that actually stop us from being present, right, in the world and actually enjoying the fact that we are in a body that will, it will expire. And now, do you find that your fear thoughts are driven by what you need to do? You need to keep moving in order to achieve certain elements to be okay? That your time here was valid?
That's very much a motivating factor for me. That time is running out, and I need to do the things that I want to do, that I dreamed of doing. So I have to work harder. I want to be able to be happy, and that's well, I equate happiness with accomplishing my goals.
Let's look at that. So what goals on your bucket list are you looking forward to fulfilling?
Well, I've been directing films, and so I've been editing a feature film now that I've shot during the lockdown, and I've got some other projects coming up. But that is one of my goals, is to finish that, and well, have the ability to finish it, because I still need some other stuff. But yeah, and to have it out there in the world so that people can appreciate my contribution to the arts.
Your contribution to the arts. That seems a very reasonable goal to be able to achieve. What other goals are there?
To lose 20 pounds, to be healthy.
That's doable too. It just requires, that's not something that anyone, there's a reason why there are a million different diet programs going on, right? Because you're not alone. You're not alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that's done for health reasons, I would imagine.
It is very much so.
Right, for health reasons, rather than other particular goals. So let's say you do those, you've got those things done, and those could quite easily be achieved within 2 years, right? Very easily.
Yeah, very soon. Yeah.
Have you found in the past that when you've had a goal, it makes you happy? It makes you happy for an extended period of time?
Achieving it does give me exaltation. It does make me happy, but in the process of doing it, that's what really makes me the doing it, the collaboration with other people. It's just problem solving. It gives me active, and then I found that makes me happy too.
So you found that very much you like to be working on a project, to be in the world and commune with people.
Yeah. Very much the sharing of ideas, the sharing of imagination. Where it comes down to problem solving. How can we solve this problem together? Or here is my idea. Can we all get together and follow this through? That gives me satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. So you see that as something that brings joy versus it being a problem. This is in my way of achieving the goal. You see it as part of your goal.
Yes. We were working out there in the desert, hot desert of Utah during the summer. And sometimes it would go up to 110 degrees, and very limited resources and very limited crew. So we were very independent. I was financing out of my pocket, but what kept us going was that we were doing this together. It's us against the elements. It's us against the world. and that's what get us through the harsh elements and lack of resources and other things that we're lacking. I find that it brought me together with my the with the with the environment. After the day was done, you look up and you go, "Wow, what a beautiful day it is!" And we started with this hot, unbearable heat, and now the sun is going down. It gives you a feeling of euphoria and that you have accomplished something through. You've gone through obstacles to overcome. You've overcome something, and now here you are with your fellow friends, and now you're going home.
And a big element of that for you is that you have a shared experience while doing
Yes,
that.
yes,
That, and then the elements seemingly you remarked against you against the elements, but at the end of the day, you're actually uniting with them and looking at how beautiful the day is and what you've overcome. So
yes.
it's almost like there's opposition coming together then as one, right?
Mhm.
Which is what unity is, right? You got two things coming together. It's kind of like a reunion, right? You reunite and then you're, okay, enough of that. I'm going away here.
Yeah.
So part of for you is that shared experience and communing. And do you think part of that is because you grew up in the islands, more of a village community?
Yes, I think that's that our my background, my society, uh, matriarch um, uh, community. We all had to pull together, to work together to accomplish things. And if if you don't have something, you go next door. You can borrow from them, and then there was just we are all together in this community. That we look down on those that think um, that are outside of that community that tend to be more European than uh, so.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the few. Let's go into a little bit about your experience of the matriarchal community because it's very much been diminished, although it's sort of on the rise again. That's what did you notice that you wish that maybe European countries or America did have that you got to experience in more of that matriarchal society?
I yes, I coming from that society to this society, I got to experience both worlds living. So uh, it's back home. It was all of us together, uh, and here it's more an individual, you know, uh, success thing. Uh, I'm going to do this, and um, I might not need you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but how they are different, but they are the same. Just in a way that they're different is um, more individuality are put are more important here than they are in my community.
So that yes, the collaboration of the group rising up rather than the individual.
Yes.
Do you think that there are less fears for individuals that grow up in more of that community versus
I think there's a lot more support that they are feel that there's that um, um, that that they have that um, those friends and family that they can count on even when things go really bad. Uh,
so there's no fear of ever being alone or not being supported or taken care of
in the
the way it is
islands,
here.
no, everybody takes care of her. That's the way it is.
And when you work on your projects, and they are your projects. Do you make an effort for that environment to be there?
Yes, I very much that we all have to be in sync together. We all have. I have to get together and have a vision for them to follow. Uh, Otherwise, it becomes too individual. I'm doing this because this is the plan. We got to follow this plan to accomplish such a thing. Uh, let's all get together. You're doing this. I'm doing this, and then we're going to shoot this, and this is what the shot's going to be like, and this is what the action is. Do we all understand? And then I set up the camera, and and we all play, and it becomes this is
We all play. What a word that's
Yeah.
often missed out in the arts, but that's where it comes from, right? We all play.
Yes, we're just
don't-
capturing the play.
Yes, yeah, right. Because it's all a play anyway. We're just acting in a play, and why not have fun while we're doing it?
Yes,
We're all going to
and
die.
I've come to understand that's it. That's not real. It's all imagined. And what's the fuss? That's
What's the fuss? Don't be so fussy. It's all going to work out. Yeah, right. What's the fuss? I like that. Should be. We'll call that. We should use that thumbnail. What's the fuss? With now you reside here permanently. Do you go back and you miss the mentality of the islands?
I do miss it, but it lives that world that I lived in. It's changed from what I've heard. So the island that I know lives in my head, and it stays there until I go back. It's all ruined. So I haven't been back.
Do you still have close ties to those when you were younger?
Oh yeah, very much so. When I meet them, a lot of them are here. Sometimes I run into them in my travels. It feels like we haven't missed any time at all. It's like an old friend. It's just like,
and that
hey,
comes
and we
from
speak in a native tongue. What?
Right. Oh, okay. And what is the name of the native tongue?
Our portion of it, of the Polynesian language, is Samoan. But the Polynesians is comprised of a lot of islands.
Yes.
The Hawaiians, the Tongans, you name it, Easter Island. They're all form of the same language, which were spread out years and years, and then it became unique to those islands.
Yes. What would you say to your younger self, who then was coming to America to, I would imagine, pursue your dreams, that you've looked back on that might save you some graces?
There are a lot of things I would say. I've made a lot of mistakes. But
what's a mistake that you made that you can clearly see now was out of fear?
They're all relationship related. So
intimacy, right? Emotional intimacy with romantic endeavors.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all that, and a lot of that all falls down on me. So, that's a learning experience. I continue to learn because every person is different. That's
right.
A learning process.
So you're the one element that is consistent in all of it, right? And
yes.
So if you track, was that consistent element lack of responsibility, or you thought you would lose independence, or what do you see that now that was actually a lie, but you were believing the lie at that time?
In my relationships?
Yeah, for you, what you look back now and you said, well, at the time I thought this would be, if I didn't blah blah. Everyone has that when you look back and realize,
my importance.
Your self-importance.
Yeah. yeah, the things that I thought I was right. You know, yeah.
Okay. Now,
Uh,
did you grow up that you were right as a male or no?
yeah. I think so. I mean, I didn't like it when I was challenged that you couldn't do this, so I fought a lot but, for those, and I brought in other elements of my life that became a fight in a relationship that didn't need to be
Didn't need to be. And do you think that was part of the role that you were assigned growing up in Ireland as a male?
there. I think so. I mean, you have to know the answers. You have to solve
Do you?
problems.
Do you have to know the answers?
No, I don't. I think that's I, if you go into to anything that that's what I learned, and I've come to peace with is, it's okay not to know anything,
It's
not to know it all.
exceptionally freeing.
Yes, and that to go back and ask, I don't know what I'm doing here. Can somebody help me out? Uh, let's all get
I don't,
together,
yes,
resolve this issue.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If we aren't in the unknown and live in the unknown, there's no place for magic to happen. For
Hey,
us
that's a
to
good
be,
point. Yeah.
there's no place for the unknown. You are so-called against the elements. Is it's an unknown entity, nature. Mother Nature will always win. Mother Nature will always
Yes.
win. How do we navigate, right? And then surrender to what is, and at the end of the day, what happens is this beautiful acknowledgement, as you had said, of the end of the day, how gorgeous it is, right? So it almost comes from a place of, I know we've got to do it, and then coming together because we don't know, see what happens, and then being able to enjoy with what the result is, right? But
Yeah.
if we're not in the process of, I don't know, if we know everything, there's no space for that, I guess, magical beauty to occur in life.
Right. There's no space for the other person.
Anyone, right? There's no
Yeah.
space at all, right? And so, part of what we do with the nonprofit, I have this ridiculous idea to do large numbers of people learning, large numbers. People like, kind of bitten off a bit too much there, Paula. And I was like, but if I don't make it big, there's no space for the magic to occur.
Hey. Yeah.
There's no space to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help? Would you like to help? Would you like to exactly like it? Would you like to commune? Would you like to participate? Right. And we have an experience.
That's it.
How it's going to turn out, that's not my business, actually. I mean, it is, but it isn't really. Like, it's a process of enjoying the journey of it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not knowing, and when you arrive, you're surprised.
Because that's the flow. That's in the zone. That's what all these people are doing, all these courses and all these things to get into. How do I get into the zone? How do I get into the zone? How do I get into the zone? Well, you've got to let go.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to let go, if someone doesn't know how to let go, is watching this, get the ebook and we can get someone to come and help you teach the meditation, because it's about letting go. If you practice to do it, sitting on your backside, come on, I'm a Brit. We only win sports that we sit on our backsides. If you sit on your backside and do it, where else but learning how to actually let go with the mind, and then the body surrenders in. And that's the same thing with breathing. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today. What a lovely chat. If you want to find out more about Sila, you will be able to find out the links in the description. We'd greatly appreciate it if a nonprofit you would like and subscribe and maybe share with someone who says, hey, check this out. That's intriguing. We should really sponsor that chick and set up a studio and have it happening and let her travel the world, giving people a stress reduction technique. That's what I'm talking about. And then Sila can make a documentary about it, and he can have lots of community. He won't be stuck in the desert the whole time. We'll get him back to the islands. So with that, we'd like to say thank you so much for joining us and my delusion. And we'll see you soon on the next Cosmic Chats.